Hello everyone, you are once again welcome to this program, Africa Must Reason. This is the third episode of the program on the topic Pocket Economy, and this is the part 3 of Pocket Economy. If this is your first time of visiting this channel, you can watch the first 2 episodes on this same channel. As we started in Pocket Economy Part 1 and Part 2, we've been discussing funerals, specifically funeral celebrations in Africa using Ghana as the case study. So let's continue from where we ended last week on the topic Pocket Economy. Remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe. This is a presentation by the faceless presenter. So, today we are going to talk about funerals once again. We have been discussing about funerals, that is, funeral celebrations in Africa, and their impact on our pocket economy, how negative they have been so far, and how useless we can consider funerals to be, especially spending extravagantly on them, all because we think it's our culture and our tradition. The campaign of Africa Must Reason is as simple as this. Funeral celebrations are insignificant. They are useless. They make no impact on us. And they have no significance except for the fact that they are our culture and traditions, which seems senseless to our campaign. So, we just want to say that Africans should start reasoning and make the attempt to put a stop to funeral celebrations. As I've always said, remember that I am using Ghana as the case study for this program. Now, whenever you ask why we celebrate the dead in an expensive way, and why we cannot stop practicing them, the usual answer you have is that it's our culture, as we have explained in the Part 1. Some people even continue to say that we cannot stop practicing them. Others say, yes, what you are saying is true, but it is difficult for us to stop. I can't just understand that. If indeed we think that what this campaign is about is true, then it means that we can stop celebrating funerals as we do in Africa. Now, what I'm trying to say is everyone can decide not to hold funeral celebrations, because there are no laws binding us, and there are no laws imposed on anyone to hold funeral celebrations. Now, if you are an African, if you are a Ghanaian, if you are a Nigerian, wherever you find yourself and you are listening to this campaign, I just want you to join this campaign. Let us arise and boycott funeral celebrations in Africa. In the last episode, if you have not had the chance to watch, you can watch from the channel, Pocket Economy Part 2. We talked about funeral donations that are needless, that make no impact on the life of people, that only ruin the little that the average African has made in the pocket. We talked about funeral attires that are made once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and even more times a month or even in a week, and so much money spent on them all in the name of funerals, all because funerals are traditions and culture. So then, I just want to send this message, a quiet, simple message to you, the youth in Africa, in Ghana, and wherever you find yourself. If your country is a victim of this practice of funeral celebration, then you have to reason. Our old men, our old women have nothing more to offer us. Our economy continues to collapse and suffer. Our economies are not making any progress, all because whatever these our old men and women have to offer, they have offered. Now the only hope of Africa lies in the hands and actions of the youth. Youth of Africa, youth of Ghana, arise and stop imitating these people in their unnecessary practices, all in the name of culture and tradition. I am inciting you to start boycotting funeral celebrations in Africa. Now it is time to tell your old men, your old women that enough. We will not attend such funeral celebrations again. Just like I suggested last week, it should be enough for you to keep the corpse at the mortuary for 2 days or maximum 3 days, after which you take it to wherever you must for any religious celebration or practice like the burial service or whatever, after which you go straight to the cemetery, bury the body, and go back home. Don't involve yourselves in the setting up of tents, hiring of chairs and musical instruments. Don't go and sit and waste time to make unnecessary talks, all in the name of culture and tradition. Youth, if our elders, if our old men and women are not ready to reason, I am inciting you this time reason. Africa must reason. Youth of Africa, arise and reason. It is time for you to stand and say enough of this archaic culture. Enough of this useless culture. Enough of this senseless culture. We shall not attend funerals again. Enough. Tell your parents, tell your mother, tell your father that once you are dead, I will make sure I give you your burial service. whatever you deserve, and that is all. Nothing else, nothing more. Tell your parents, tell your loved ones. I just want to tell you, it is needless for you to spend so much money on funerals because it makes no positive impact on your life. Look at how our economies are being ruined nowadays by the so-called politicians. So then, I am advising you, the young ones, arise and boycott this cultural practice that only ruins your pocket. We are talking about your pocket economy. If you want to make a better life, if you want to live a better life, if you want your future to be better than the current life that our leaders are leading now, our elders, our old men and women are going through now, if you want to live a better life, start boycotting this so-called funeral. It is useless. It is needless. Africa must reason. The time has come. The time is up for you, the youth, to rise against any form of practice that you think ruins your pocket and brings no impact on your pocket economy, all in the name of culture and tradition. As time passes, as time goes by, culture and tradition must be dynamic. It must change. It must also pass by. Then there should be new things, and that is what Africa Must Reason is all about. Young ones today, Pocket Economy Part 3 is dedicated to you. Start boycotting funeral celebrations in Africa. Stop following those elder ones, those old ones, those who have lived their life and have made whatever they can achieve and have nothing else to achieve. Stop following them. Arise and focus on what can be the best future for you. The amount of money that you invest in funerals nowadays, you can invest them in businesses, set up something and make a future for yourselves. Youth, arise and boycott that useless practice they refer to as funeral. I'm inciting you this evening. I am telling you what the truth is. Don't allow them to deceive you by saying we cannot stop. It is impossible for us to stop. It is our culture. Those reasons are bogus. They make no sense. Arise. Start fighting for your own pocket economy, the progress of your own pocket economy. We can have a better future in Africa. We can have a better economy if you, the youth, think reason and start arising and boycotting some of these practices like funerals. Pocket Economy Part 3, Africa Must Reason. So I just need somebody to explain the essence of having funeral celebrations. I just need somebody to tell the reasons, the significance behind having funeral celebrations. Sit your father down, sit your mother down, sit your grandpa down, and your grandma. Ask them these questions. Let them give you vivid explanation. Let them give you tangible reasons why you should follow them to funerals. Tangible reasons why you should spend your hard-earned money on funerals. Ask them these questions. Don't be intimidated by their words. Don't allow them to give you simple and intangible reasons like, it's our culture, it's our tradition. Don't accept those simple reasons that we cannot stop doing it because people will talk about it. These are bogus reasons. Youth, arise and fight for your better future. We, the old men and women, we have destroyed the economy. We, the old men and women, we have destroyed the better life of you people. Your future. We are taking your future far, far, far away from you. It is time for you to arise and fight for your own future. Pocket economy, Africa must reason. The youth must boycott funeral celebrations in Africa. I've always said I'm using Ghana as a case study. So if you are in Kenya, you are in Uganda, or you may be in Nigeria, you are in Niger, Liberia, or wherever you find yourself. If your country adheres to this useless cultural practice they call funeral celebration, then take this advice as well. Run for your better future. Run away from that useless culture for your better future. Otherwise, you continue to ruin your life, live in poverty, and continue to suffer. How long and how many days do we, these old ones, old women, have on this earth to exist? You are the future, you are the youth, and you have your life in your hands. Pocket Economy Part 3 says funeral celebrations in Africa are needless, they are useless, they are bogus, they are insignificant, they have no value, that they add nothing to our pocket economy, but rather ruin the little that we have earned on a hard-term basis. So, advise yourself. If you are a young one and you are listening to me, advise yourself. Tell yourself that it is enough for us to follow, to adhere, and to listen to these old men and women. Yes, you can. Trust me, yes, you can. Now, before we continue, let's dash some $20 worth of USDT on TikTok gifts. DM this secret code AMR 2999 to X, and this week's giveaway is yours. Arise, youth. Today I'm challenging you that you can make a better life if you avoid these useless practices they call culture and tradition. You can live a better life and have a better future. That amount of money that you have been investing in buying fabrics and clothes for funerals, you can use them to start a business and to make a better future for you. Stop doing that, and stop listening to these old people who have made their life and who have ruined their life, all in the name of culture and tradition. Africa must reason. You see, we are following their footsteps because they started pointing fingers at politicians, blaming politicians to be the problem and the reason behind the suffering of Africa. And we are trying to do the same. We are all doing the same. And all the youth are also following suit because that is what they are teaching us, forgetting that they are teaching us bogus and useless and senseless practices they call culture and tradition. We are still on funerals. I just want to make this point clearer to you that funeral celebrations add no value to your pocket economy. If you are a young one, arise and boycott funeral celebrations. Tell them enough is enough. I am not ready to adhere to this culture again. I want to move my life on. I want to make a better future. And with this, you can have a better life to live. So now, as we conclude on this episode, which is episode 3, and that is part 3 of Pocket Economy, I would want to say that it is about time, we rose against all these practices that cost us so much that makes life expensive for us, all in the name of culture and tradition, and stand for the right, which is stand for the best. Africa must reason. In the next episode, we shall still talk about funeral celebrations. We shall talk about Africans in the diaspora, before we move on to some other topics on Pocket Economy. So this episode was dedicated to you, the young ones. Stand, arise, speak, and fight for your future. Don't allow these old ones to ruin your future. Funeral practices are useless, they are needless. They make no good impact on our lives. They only ruin our pockets. They only ruin our future. They only ruin our opportunities in life. Don't adhere to them. Boycott them. If you're a young one, boycott funerals. Start boycotting funerals. From today henceforth, no more funeral donations, no more funeral fabrics, no more funeral attendance. If you want to attend the funeral of a loved one, just follow them to the church for burial service, after which you follow them to the cemetery for burial, and that is all. Nothing else. Africa must reason. Let's end here. We shall continue next week as we bring you another episode on Pocket Economy. Until we meet again next week, it's goodbye.